Feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists. I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
This wasn't a rumor that crept in quietly. This was the kind of moment that makes timelines freeze and group chats light up at the same time. 1 second, Hollywood felt business as usual. And the next second, 50 Cent allegedly sounded the alarm like someone smelled smoke behind the velvet curtain. Not a joke, not a meme, an alarm. And suddenly, Will Smith was dragged into a conversation he clearly didn't invite. That's when the whispers turned radioactive. An alleged private leak started circulating with no official confirmation, no clean explanation, and no instruction manual on how people were supposed to react. The internet did what it always does when it senses chaos mixed with mystery. It overreacted professionally. Screenshots flew, captions stretched the truth, and speculation sprinted miles ahead of facts. And when 50 Cent's warning energy entered the chat, the tone shifted from gossip to panic. Because when the internet's most consistent instigator suddenly stops joking, people listen. This wasn't playful trolling. This felt like someone saying, "You don't want to be standing here when this gets worse." And just like that, a private situation turned into a public spectacle. Hollywood went from polished to paranoid in record time. Nothing about this situation arrived gently. And that's exactly why it detonated so fast. This wasn't a polished headline carefully rolled out by a publicist or a rumor that quietly died in the comments. It hit like a dropped phone in a silent room. 1 minute Hollywood felt calm, the next minute an alleged private leak had people whispering like they'd just overheard something they weren't supposed to hear. The moment 50 Cent allegedly sounded the alarm, the tone shifted instantly. This wasn't his usual playful trolling or sarcastic jabs meant to stir engagement. It came off sharper, more direct, and unsettlingly serious. When someone who thrives on chaos suddenly stops laughing, people pay attention whether they want to or not. Will Smith being dragged into the conversation made everything heavier. His name doesn't float through rumors casually. It carries decades of carefully managed image, family branding, and Hollywood prestige. Even when controversy has touched him in the past, it usually came with context, statements, or controlled messaging. This time there was none of that. The alleged private leak didn't come with receipts, confirmations, or even a clear explanation. Different corners of the internet described it differently. Some exaggerated details, others contradicted each other entirely. That confusion didn't slow the story down, it accelerated it. In internet culture, uncertainty is fuel. Once 50 Cent's warning began circulating, people stopped asking what the leak was and started asking why he would say something like that publicly. That's when speculation went from casual to aggressive. Fans debated whether he knew something the public didn't, or if this was another expertly timed provocation. Either way, the warning worked. Everyone leaned in. Silence from Will Smith's side immediately became its own headline. In celebrity logic, silence is never neutral. To supporters, it looked like dignity and refusal to legitimize rumors. To critics, it looked like avoidance. And to the algorithm, silence is just an empty space begging to be filled with assumptions. The internet wasted no time revisiting old interviews, jokes and moments that suddenly felt suspicious in hindsight. Clips that once felt harmless were reframed as foreshadowing. Past headlines were dragged back into circulation like evidence. This is how online narratives get rewritten in real time, not based on facts, but on what feels convenient. What made this moment especially volatile was how personal it felt. Allegations tied to private relationships always trigger moral panic. People project their own fears, biases, and beliefs onto the situation instantly. The conversation stopped being about verification and became about judgment. Once judgment enters the room, facts usually exit. 50 Cent's role dominated the discussion in a way few others could. His reputation as a provocateur meant every word carried extra weight. Supporters framed him as sounding the alarm, someone unafraid to say what others won't. Critics accused him of exploiting rumors for clout. Both sides spoke with confidence, and neither side had confirmation. Memes began creeping into timelines, not as full-blown jokes, but as uncomfortable humor. Side-eye reaction images, sarcastic captions, and comparisons to past Hollywood scandals. That started quietly and ended explosively. People joked that this made celebrity culture feel like a thriller written by the internet itself. Media coverage tiptoed carefully, layering every sentence with allegedly and unconfirmed. That caution didn't calm audiences. It made them suspicious. When outlets slow down instead of chasing clicks, people assume there's more happening behind the scenes. Restraint gets misread as concealment in online logic, the lack of concrete. Details allowed everyone to build their own version of the story. Some imagined worst-case scenarios. Others insisted the rumor would collapse under scrutiny. Both camps spoke with certainty, and neither camp had evidence. That's the most dangerous stage of any viral controversy. Will Smith's silence continued to dominate discussion? Every hour without a statement felt heavier than the last. Fans debated whether speaking would help or make things worse. The truth is, no response ever satisfies the internet once speculation takes hold. Any statement would be dissected, clipped, and misinterpreted instantly. The alleged leak also reignited conversations about privacy, consent, and the price of fame. In theory, many agreed private matters should stay private. In practice, engagement told a different story. The posts kept spreading. The speculation kept growing. Morality always loses to momentum online. What locked people in wasn't proof. It was the feeling that something slipped out before it could be contained. A secret. Escaping a private space and running wild in public. Those are the stories the internet never lets go of easily. Mystery plus celebrity is a guaranteed trap. The situation quickly stopped being about one alleged incident and turned into a referendum on credibility. Who gets believed? Who gets doubted? Who benefits from silence? These questions don't stay theoretical online. They turn personal fast. Fans accused each other of bias, blindness, and agenda-driven thinking. Supporters of Will Smith argued this was another example of rumors spiraling without evidence. Skeptics countered that repeated silence combined with a public warning suggested deeper issues. Both sides dug in. Nuance disappeared almost instantly. Behind all the noise was one uncomfortable truth. No one actually knew what was real yet, but that didn't slow anything down. The warning, the whispers, and the reactions fed into a machine. That doesn't require facts to function. It just needs attention. This phase of the story wasn't about answers. It was about ignition. The moment a rumor crosses into mainstream conversation and becomes bigger than the people involved. Once that happens, control evaporates completely. Once the alarm rang, the internet didn't debate whether it should react. It reacted first and asked questions later. The story jumped from niche gossip corners into mainstream timelines like it had been waiting for permission. And the permission slip came stamped with one name: 50 Cent. When he talks even vaguely, people assume there's smoke because he's spent years proving
he knows where fires start. Reaction channels rushed in like it was a breaking news alert.
Every creator with a ring light suddenly had context to add. Some slowed down his tone frame by frame, claiming the warning felt unusually serious. Others laughed it off as classic chaos marketing, arguing this was just another expertly timed stir that feeds the algorithm. The disagreement only boosted reach. Controversy doesn't need consensus to trend. Memes followed immediately, not playful ones, but the kind that feel uncomfortable on purpose. Side-eye reaction shots, dramatic. Captions and jokes comparing Hollywood to a thriller written by a group chat with no adult supervision. People joked that this made celebrity scandals look like cliffhangers designed by Netflix interns. Humor became a pressure valve for anxiety. Public outrage fractured instead of unifying. One corner of the internet accused 50 Cent of exploiting unverified whispers and pouring gasoline on something that never should have gone public. Another corner applauded him for keeping it real, claiming he was warning someone before things spiraled. Both sides spoke loudly, confidently, and without proof. That's how outrage sustains itself. The alleged leak itself became secondary to the reaction around it. Descriptions kept changing depending on who was talking. Some exaggerated, others minimized. A few added dramatic twists that couldn't be traced to any credible source. At this stage, the story stopped being about truth and became about narrative dominance. Whoever told the most compelling version won attention. Silence from Will Smith only intensified speculation. Every hour without a response was treated like evidence by someone. Supporters argued that responding would only legitimize rumors. Critics claimed silence let speculation grow unchecked. Both interpretations spread equally fast, because silence is the most flexible ingredient in internet storytelling. Old footage resurfaced like clockwork. Interviews, jokes, red carpet moments, and throwaway comments were clipped and reframed as if they had been hiding meaning all along. Hindsight turned into a weapon. Context evaporated. Everything looked obvious. Once people decided what they wanted to see, pop culture comparisons flooded timelines. Some likened the situation to celebrity scandals that started as whispers and ended with documentaries nobody asked for. Others joked this felt like a crossover episode where Hollywood drama and internet chaos collided without a script. The sarcasm masked discomfort, because underneath the jokes was the sense that the situation was spiraling without control. Media outlets tried to walk a tightrope, layering headlines with alleged, rumored, and unconfirmed. That caution didn't calm audiences, it made them suspicious. When coverage slows down, people assume something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Restraint gets misread as concealment in internet logic. As outrage grew, moral debates popped up everywhere. Some argued that private matters should stay private, regardless of fame. Others insisted public figures surrender privacy the moment their lives become brands. These debates sounded thoughtful, but they didn't slow engagement. Ethics never trend as hard as chaos. The most dangerous shift happened quietly. In some corners, allegedly, started disappearing. Speculation hardened into assumption. Assumption turned into certainty. That's when correction becomes nearly impossible. Once the internet decides a version of events feels right, facts struggle to catch up. 50 Cent's role stayed central. Supporters framed him as an insider sounding an alarm, someone who knows when to warn rather than joke. Critics painted him as an instigator who knows exactly how to hijack attention. Both interpretations reinforced his relevance, which meant the story stayed alive. Casual viewers grew exhausted. What started as shock turned into fatigue. People didn't know what to believe anymore, but they knew the situation felt ugly. That fatigue didn't kill engagement. It changed its tone. Less curiosity, more cynicism. More side eyes than deep dives. Behind the noise, consequences began stacking quietly. Reputations don't need confirmation to take damage. Once doubt attaches, it lingers. Even if the story fades, the association sticks. That's the hidden cost of viral speculation. The situation stopped belonging to the people at its center. It became public property, reshaped by every repost and reaction. Context dissolved, intent flattened. Meaning shifted depending on who shared the clip. Control was gone. By the end of this phase, one thing was clear. The alarm had done more than spark conversation. It locked the internet into a story it refused to let go of. Whether the allegations collapsed or escalated, the damage from speculation was already in motion. This wasn't resolution. It was escalation. The moment rumor turns into reputation risk and everyone involved loses control of the narrative. And once that happens, the fallout doesn't wait for facts. The fallout didn't explode in one dramatic moment. It crept in quietly and stayed. That's how real damage usually works. By the time the internet's volume dipped, opinions had already solidified. Loud outrage faded into quiet judgment, and quiet judgment is far more permanent. Once a narrative settles online, it doesn't need constant noise to keep hurting. Will Smith felt the shift almost immediately in public perception. Not because anything had been proven, but because uncertainty lingers longer than facts. Silence, whether strategic or protective, continued to be interpreted however people wanted. To loyal fans, it looked like restraint and dignity. To skeptics, it looked like avoidance wrapped in privilege. The internet decided both could exist at once. The lack of closure made everything heavier, no confirmation. No denial, no clean ending. Unfinished stories linger longer than resolved ones, especially when celebrity names are attached. The internet hates uncertainty, but it feeds on it endlessly. That tension kept the situation alive even after headlines moved on. 50 Cent didn't escape the aftermath either. Supporters praised him for allegedly keeping it real and sounding an alarm when others stayed quiet. Critics accused him of weaponizing rumors for relevance and chaos. Both takes reinforced his reputation as someone who knows how to stay central in controversy. Love him or hate him, his involvement guaranteed the story wouldn't fade quietly. The situation quietly reshaped conversations about privacy and spectacle. People asked whether alleged private leaks should ever be discussed publicly, even in vague terms. Others argued that once something goes viral, pretending it doesn't exist is unrealistic. These debates felt thoughtful, but they rarely slowed. Engagement. Morality never outruns momentum online. As days passed, reactions cooled but didn't disappear. Instead of heated arguments, there were side-eye comments and subtle references. The story became shorthand, something people brought up casually when talking about Hollywood image control or how fast fame fractures. That's how scandals evolve into labels. What made the aftermath especially brutal was how permanent it felt. Allegations don't need proof to live forever online. Screenshots don't expire. Clips don't lose context, they lose nuance. The warning from 50 Cent became a soundbite detached from its original moment, replayed until it felt bigger than whatever sparked it. Behind the scenes, consequences likely stacked quietly. Opportunities don't vanish loudly, they simply stop calling. Conversations pause, projects slow down. None of this trends, but all of it matters. Reputation damage doesn't need a verdict, it just needs doubt to hang in the air. The audience changed too. Some fans doubled down in loyalty, defending against any mention of the situation. Others drifted away, tired of the constant cloud of speculation. Neutral observers grew more cynical, seeing the entire saga as another example of how quickly celebrity culture devours ambiguity. Nobody walked away untouched. What this moment exposed most clearly was how little control anyone has once speculation takes over. A warning, a rumor, and silence were enough to fuel weeks of conversation. No evidence required, no confirmation necessary. Attention did the rest. The irony is that the internet eventually moved on, as it always does, but it didn't forget. This moment became part of the background noise surrounding everyone involved. It won't trend forever, but it will resurface whenever the names do. That's the real cost of viral controversy. In the end, this wasn't a story defined by truth or lies. It was defined by uncertainty, by how quickly people filled gaps with imagination, by how powerful a single word like run can be when dropped into the right moment, and by how fast perception hardens without proof. This chapter didn't close with justice, clarity, or resolution. It closed with doubt, damage, and unanswered questions. And in the internet age, unanswered questions are the loudest ending of all. If this situation had you leaning closer to your screen, replaying clips, or questioning how one warning can flip Hollywood upside down overnight, then you already understand how fragile fame really is. One rumor, one sentence, one person saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, and suddenly a carefully built image starts wobbling. This is how celebrity chaos works now. Quiet moments don't stay quiet, and private situations don't stay private. Now, it's your turn, because the comment section is where the real investigation happens. Was this a genuine warning that people should take seriously, or just another perfectly timed chaos move that fed the algorithm? Do you think silence protects reputations, or does it just give rumors more room to grow? Drop your take below, but keep it honest and sharp, because speculation spreads fast and facts always arrive late. If this breakdown gave you the tension, context, and edge you came for, smash that like button like it owes you money and keeps ducking your calls. Subscribe if you want deep dives that don't just repeat headlines. but rip apart how fame, ego, and internet culture collide in real time. This channel doesn't chase celebrities. It exposes how fast perception turns into damage, because let's be real. Today, it's one alleged leak and one viral warning. Tomorrow, it's another name trending for reasons nobody predicted. The internet never slows down, and neither do these scandals. When the next situation erupts and timelines start spiraling, you'll already know where the breakdowns live. This is where rumors build narratives. Warnings echo longer than facts, and one moment can rewrite an entire legacy. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, once the internet locks in, there's no such thing as damage control.